We are running.
Who taught you that your life is disconnected from the effects of the future? I find so many times that when we live our lives in default mode, never taking action, never reaching out, always staying passive with our life, we end up with the life we never wanted. We end up in a massive array of different outcomes with the lowest common denominator for our lives. I don't think there's enough luck in the world to make a better future for someone who decides to live their life on default. How can you have the life you want when you section yourself off from making choices? Not even the right choices, but any choice at all. I believe that because of our uncertainty, because of our fear of making a bad decision, we end up making the worst decision, which is to make none at all, leaving our future in the hands of others. I think that's why we wake up some mornings and come to the realization that we are a misplaced miracle. I've heard it said before that we are a miracle looking for a place to happen. In our culture, we have a condition where people are underdeveloped for their season, the place where they were meant to find their success, find their miracle, find what they're looking for, passes right by because they're underdeveloped for that moment. Why? Because they lacked to make any decisions along the way. You will miss your moment. You will miss your promised land if you do not keep moving forward. In Exodus chapter 14, we see that Pharaoh is going after the Israelites. For some context, the Israelites were God's people. But in Egypt under Pharaoh, they were slaves. But God had set the Israelites free, and Pharaoh decided to go after them to get them back. In verses 10 through 12, the Israelites began shouting in fear to Moses, their leader, saying, "Did you bring us out into the desert to die because there were no graves in Egypt? Look what you've done by bringing us out of Egypt. Didn't we tell you in Egypt, leave us alone? Let us go on serving the Egyptians? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." But in verse 13, Moses answered the people, saying, "Stand still and see what the Lord will do for you today." I want to make this observation. The Israelites were about to choose to go back into the land where they were enslaved. When they were about to retreat and start backtracking, that is when Moses told them to be still. Many of us have this magical view of the future where if God wills it to happen, it'll happen. I don't need to work on anything. It'll all just fall in my lap. I don't need to dream. I don't need to envision. I'll just wake up and it'll be mine. Besides, I'm supposed to be still, right? But the use of be still is only said right before the Israelites are about to retreat. So you're meant to be still only when you're about to give up, quit, retreat, and backtrack into where you came from. Standing still and refusing to make choices is counter to the real meaning of what it means to be still. Being still does not mean staying complacent. It means not falling back into complacency once you've chosen to move out of it. God will bless what you start, but you need to start it first. When you begin to make choices in your life, be prepared to face some hardships, but it is what is necessary for you to grow. In the world right now, so many of us have skills to be seen, talents to unleash, value to give, and a voice to be heard. But in the name of waiting on the future and seeing what happens, we give the pen and paper of our lives over to those that are willing to go out and make the future. I firmly believe that the future belongs to those with the boldness to create it. Around the world, we see terrible things happening. We see the effects of the work of people with evil intentions so much because unlike us, they don't sit around waiting for a green light in time to do their work. How much good and value could we unleash on this world if we all chose not to wait for a green light in time, but realize that our time is now? Understanding that we are not an exception to the effects of the future, we might as well create it. So many times, instead of choosing to do something, we sit around asking God, why doesn't he do something? And I feel like sometimes God can respond by saying, I did do something. I created you. Now you do something. As human beings, our power is found in our ability to choose. Don't let the choices of others define your future.
got to change the way we think. We have got to change the way we function. We have got to change the way we deal with issues. And the reason that you have to begin to reposition the way you think and the way you function and the way you feel is that we many times are stuck between the lines of limited thinking and limited people and limited ideas and limited philosophies, and there's something creative down inside of you saying, let there